Good morning, everybody. Well, it's morning here anyway. So today what we're going to be doing is drawing a bus. So the first thing we need to do is obviously open AutoCAD, and then we're going to open the image manager. So I'm going to type the letters I, M, and press space or enter. That'll bring up the image manager window. And from the top left there is a button there, so we can make sure it's on attach image. So left click that, and then I'll go to where my image is. So here's the image that I have, and I'm just going to leave things as they are, and it's just going to ask me for the scale. So I'll just click anywhere for now. Okay, I'm going to close this window. So we have some dimensions on this plan here. So the first thing I'm going to do is change to red, and also because I'm actually currently going to be working this crosshair over the white so you can see better, I'm just going to open up the options. So type OP, and under display I'm going to change the colors of the crosshairs to I'll go to black. Okay, so it's a bit easier to see now. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a line from approximately there, and I'm going to press the F8 key. As you can see, that line's just going across like that. So now it's straight or orthogonal. So now we have a reference line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to left click somewhere just on away from the image, then drag over and grab everything. And now I'm going to left click on the blue grip there. So now it's a red grip, so it's called a hot grip. And if you look at the bottom left here in the command prompt, it says stretch. Since I've clicked that, it says stretch. If I press my space bar, it cycles through different options. So if I press space, it goes to move, rotate, scale, mirror, and then back to stretch. And I'll just keep on cycling through that. So what I want to actually do is cycle through until I get to scale. And then I'm going to type R, press the space bar, and this is for the reference. So what we're going to tell it here is we're going to click this point. That's the first point. And then I'm going to click here to tell it that that's the second point. So what I'm telling AutoCAD here is basically this distance from here to here, use that as the reference. And now it's going to ask me what the length is. So this here is in millimeters. So it's 11,300 millimeters, which is 11.3 meters. So I'm just going to type in that number. And now I press space or enter. And it will scale that up perfectly now to the right dimension. So we can check that too by just running the dist command, so we can check our distance. So DIST, and I'm just going to press the F3 key to turn on my snaps, and I click from here to here, and if we look at the bottom left here, we can see that it's actually is the correct dimension. So now to go about drawing this, I'm probably going to start with, let's see, I'm probably just going to, I'm going to start a polyline. So I've typed PL for polyline. I'm going to start at the bottom of this bus here. And I press my F8 key to turn that off for a moment so I can come down this angle roughly. And I press the F8 key again to turn on orthogonal. And then I'm going to click here to the wheel arch. Now that wheel arch looks like it comes up a little bit straight. Approximately, I'll say about there. I think it's roughly where the center of that wheel is. And now I'm going to draw an arc. So in the middle of the polyline command, I can just type the A key for arc. And in this case, I can just move it across roughly to where I think it should go. So there. That looks about right. It's a little bit off, but it's pretty close. You can always adjust things later. And then I left click. Now, as you can see, it's going to want to do another arc. So I press the L key to go back to line, press space, and I'll come back down again. Now in this case here, I want to actually make sure that this lines up. So I can do it by eye, but there is another way. As long as your grips are on, or your snaps are on, sorry, you can see how this little rubber band thing comes out there, the extension. So what you need to do is actually have your F11 key pressed. So I just turned mine off for a moment. See at the bottom here it says object snap tracking off. If I press the F11 key on my keyboard, turns it on, and then if I highlight my cursor over that point there, go back over again, it should be able to, yeah, as I come along, it should be able to just project an imaginary line. Now with that too, if that's not working for you, you may need to go into your snaps menu to allow extension. Or what you can do is you can hold down the shift key, press your right mouse button as I've just done now, and you'll see it comes up with extension there. So in case that's not actually already on and you're not getting that effect of what I'm doing, that's what you can do as a temporary measure. Oops. And we'll continue on. The same thing here. I want to get that line in line with that one there. So, and I'll type A for arc. And the arc I might need to adjust slightly so it lines up with the other one. Now left click, type L for line again, and line that up. Here, I'm going to press my F8 key to turn off the ortho. Click, turn it back on, press F8 again. And I might, just for now, just ignore these lights and come up. Now, this is a pretty detailed window here. You might, I mean, it depends on how detailed you want to go. I'm just looking at the best way to do this here. I might just come out a little bit. As I said, you can always adjust things later, but we're getting the rough outline shape here at the moment. And I think actually I've gone too far here. So I'm going to come into about here and up. That looks like it's the window glazing there. Okay. I'm going to press my F8 key again. You can actually see there's a, seems to be like a little corner or a chamfer there. I can come back with that later. And here again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come right through there. Right there. I'm going to press my F8 key. And approximately about there. I press it again to turn on ortho. And I'm going to come down. And we're a little off. That's okay though. I think the reason being, oh yes, you can see here that the bus actually comes in a little bit, tapers in. So I'm just going to drag that over. So all I'm doing there is left clicking on the grip, and then I'm just moving my mouse to there. And because my snap's right, it snaps straight to that point. So we can see we've got a rough outline there of the bus. Now we can look at, say, putting in the wheels. So I'm going to do a circle. So I'm going to press C for circle. And I'm going to use that extension thing again. So it's about around there. And then I'm just going to drag that out. As you can see, it's a little bit off. It's not majorly, but it is a little. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab that and just move it over. So the way we can move, I can just type the M key for move, select my object, and then just move a little bit there. So it's approximate. I said you can always adjust this as much as you want to later on. And what I'm going to do is to make these other circles is I'm going to use the offset command. So I type O, press space or enter. I'm going to select here, and then I'm going to move my mouse to where I want the next line to go. Now it's going to ask me for the object, so I'm going to select this, and I'm going to move my mouse inward, and we've created another line. I'm going to run that command again by offset from here to here. Select the object, go the direction, and I press space, and press space again to start the command again. So when you finish a command, the next time you press space, it'll redo the same command you just did. So offset. Okay, so we're going to get the wheel going there. And we've got some arcs there. So there are a couple of different ways we can do that. I can actually just start an arc. So A for arc. And I'm just going to start there and then click roughly in the middle there. and then something like that. Then I'm going to press the escape key to get out of the command, and then I'm going to type T for trim, TR should I say, TR for trim. I'm going to select this circle here, press space, and then I'm going to just clean up those little pieces there. So now, to get perfect alignment of these around the circle, what I'll do is I'm going to create a line right from the center line of this circle. So my snaps are on for circle, and I'll show you just so you know, in case you don't already know this. If you type OS, press space or enter, and if you go to the tab that I'm already on it, that says Object Snap, these are all the snap points that I currently have on. Now you can turn on whichever ones you like. These are the ones I personally use. So I have center on. Now, as I said before, if you want to use a certain snap that you don't generally have on in the middle of a command, so I'll just do that now. I want to start a line, so alpha line. Now if I hold down the shift key, right click, I can then select center. Left click, and it will go to the center of that line. And I can just draw a line down. Doesn't really matter where, this is only a reference line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to work out how many times we need to actually go around, I'll just open up my calculator, and I think from memory it's about 72. So there's 360 degrees in a circle, and I divide that by 5. It's 72 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this line, I'm going to select this arc, and it's a little bit off there. So let's just see if we can move that. Yeah, it's not quite on there. So I'm just going to move that center line to there. And you see it's not quite on there now, so I'm going to extend, EX for extend. Select that, and then left click that. And I'm going to trim this one. TR for trim. Select that, press space, and trim that. Okay, so I'm going to select it all again. Now I'm going to select that blue grip right in the middle. It's now a hot grip, as you can see, and down the bottom left here again is I'm going to press space, and I'm going to press it again until I get to rotate. And I want to rotate a copy, so I'm going to type C for copy. Now it's going to ask me for the angle. So we know 72 degrees, and as you can see we've got one there. So the next one will be 144, because that's obviously double 72. Now we can do it the opposite way too, so I can type minus 72 degrees. And as you can see, we've got one there, and then I can do minus 144. And now we have, and I can just press space to get out of that command. Now we have all of those arcs there, and for these lines now, we can just drag our mouse over, select, and press delete. And now we have our wheel there. So what I will actually do, yes, it's always a good idea to save our drawings. So we'll just go to, I'll just put it on the desktop for now. Just go to bus. Okay. So there's all these other little circles in here too, so I don't count how many are in there, but so we'll get 20. So if we go 360 divided by 20, 18 degrees. So we'll put a circle in there. What I'll do first though is I'll draw a line between this and here. That way I can, when I draw a circle, I can actually pick the midpoint of that line. Okay, and what I'm going to do is drag this line down to the center of this circle. And at this stage, I could go around 18, 36 and all the way around. That's quite a lot of effort. So we can use another command called array. So what we need to do is do an array. So if we type AR for array, I'm going to select the circle and the line, press space. I'm going to type PO for a polar array. That means to go around in a circle. I'll click the base point of that line, and I'll just pick anyway. That'll do for now. And now it's going to ask me at the bottom here, specify angle between items. So we've already worked that out. It's 18 degrees. So for here, I'm just going to press enter. And now I'm going to select the object, and there's these little grips here. So if I grab with the arrow and move my mouse around, and then left click, we've actually created it. So we want to actually get rid of these lines. So I'm just going to explode this. So I'm going to type X for explode. Select that, and then press space. And then I'm just going to select all those lines, press delete. So we have that. And here we have a kind of rectangle. It's a bit hard to make out in this drawing exactly what's going on there. And we also have a circle. So I'll just draw the circle freehand. And I'm actually going to, I just turned off the I press my F3 key to turn off snaps. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the shift key and right click. And I'm going to click on nearest. And I'm going to put it about there somewhere. So the center point will be on that on the line of that circle. And then I was going to drag a circle out. And then what I can do is type TR for trim. And there we go. And here as I said, we have a type of rectangle here. What I'll do is I'll draw a line, or a polyline in this case. I'm going to press F8 key to turn that off. Now I'm going to offset it. O for offset. So from here to about there roughly. Okay, and then I can just draw in a line. I'm going to press my F3 key to turn on my snaps. And now I'm going to use the fillet command. So type F for fillet. In this case, the radius is already 0, which is what we want. But in case yours is a number, we do want that to be square. So what we'd have to do is just type R for radius, and then type 0, press space. And I can select this and this one and this one. So what's happening here too is because it started off with polylines, now I've filleted them, that's made it one object. So I'm going to trim, TR for trim. I'll select this object, press space, and just clear out the circle parts we don't want. And again, here we have the wheel nuts of the bus wheel. I'm just going to save this drawing. So again, we can do the same sort of thing with the polar thing. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would be 36 degrees. And what we'll do first is we'll create a shape here. So that's sort of a hexagon. So a hexagon is a 6-sided shape. So this should be 36 degrees, I believe. Yes. Oh, sorry, 60 degrees, sorry. So what I'll do is I'll draw a circle roughly around the shape of one of those. I'm going to draw a line in the middle. I'm going to select it and I'm going to rotate it. I can just rotate 60 degrees. So what I've done here again is I've made that a hot grip. I've been pressing the spacebar button until it gets to rotate. So I'll do that again. Keep going around to rotate. And I'll type C for copy. And I can just type 60, 120. So I'm going up in increments of 60 degrees here. Oops. 180, 240, 300. And I can press space or enter. And all I need to do now is if I type PL for a polyline, click on here. Okay, and now I can just get all this and just delete it. So the way I delete it is I can either press the delete key or type E for erase. And there we go. So what we'll do is here, we're going to put another circle here. Sorry, another line in the circle. And we're going to type AR for array again. Select this. And in this case, I think we'll just leave the line. And we'll go with polar. So it's already selected. Put that there. And what we'll do is now select what we want is A for angle between, and we want 36. We've got a similar sort of thing. I'm going to press space to get out of the command, and I'm going to select this and just select that group and just bring it all the way around. Alright, so there we have our wheel. There is a little circle in there, but I've just left that for now. You're probably not going to see this much detail when you're drawing anyway, to be honest. But this is a good exercise to learn how to do this. So what we can do now is we can just grab that entire wheel, Come through on the base, and we're going to move a copy. So I'm doing it this way, where I've selected the grip, I press the space bar to move, and type C for copy, and I press my F8 key, and then I'm going to line it up roughly with that wheel arch, and then left click. So here, what we'll do now is, we'll do some of the windows. So what I'm going to do is create myself a reference line, so they all line up. So I'm just going to do a line from there all the way across. I'm going to do the same here. So now what I'll do is, I'm going to draw a rectangle. So I'm going to REC for rectangle. I'm just going to move across here a bit. And about there too. Okay. A little bit off there. So what I can do is, I can stretch that. So I can type S for stretch. Select over all of that. Press the space bar, and then just drag it down. So what I want to do now is I want to do a fillet. I'll make this curved. So I type F for fillet, R for radius, and if I pick that point there to there, then I can select here to here. And this will give us a nice curve on those windows. We can see. What we can do here as well is, well, we're going to offset, so we'll do O for offset. Select here, roughly about there, and offset in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to type CO for copy, press space, and I'll select both of these objects, left click, and then press space, and I'll just grab a point from there. Just going to move it over here, create a copy of this window. And what we can do now is we can stretch again, so S for stretch. And we have, these windows have a transom in them. So I'm going to draw a line across, and offset. Again, it's also got a little mullion type thing there, a sliding window. I'm going to move a window across a little bit. Okay, and here we just draw a circle, roughly about there. And as you can see, there is another little line that comes in here. We can offset that too. So O for offset. Now I'm going to trim, so TR for trim. I'll select this, and I press the space and then get rid of that. Here I'm going to do it again. I'm going to type, press the space bar again because I've already been using the trim command, or I can type TR. Select the boundary, and I'll select that. Same thing here. Okay, so we've got our window there. So now we can create another copy. So CO for copy. I'll select everything in there. Create a reference point, and then move it along. Okay, that's looking pretty good there. So if I just hold that there, so yeah, we can really see our buses starting to come along now. So what have we got going here? So we've got all sorts of things going on here. Next thing we'll look at, I think we'll continue with the doors. So I'm going to draw a rectangle again. REC for rectangle. I'm going to go from here down to about there. Now we'll draw a line right from the center line there, down. Just drawing some lines now, roughly in the locations. I think that's okay. So with this one here, I'm going to offset. And we really only need to draw one side of the door because we can mirror it across. So I'm going to draw another rectangle, REC. We're going to offset again, O for offset. Oops, it's too far, so I'll try that again. O for offset from here to there. Now we've got a line, so what we can do is we can just sort of freehand that as well. turned off the F3 key, and because I didn't quite line up with the line, I'm just doing it by eye, so there's a gap that's sort of between the line, the imaginary line I'm drawing now, and the actual line, so I can move it over. So I'm just going to move this over, so I can type M for move. There we go, and then I can offset. So go from here, go over to here. Alright, so all we need to do now is trim that. So TR for trim, and over here. Okay, and we have a little bit at the bottom here. Draw a polyline here, so I've started PL for polyline, and press my F8 key to make it orthogonal. Draw that in, and here I can just draw a rectangle, so REC. I'm going again, TR for trim, delete that, and that one there, and we can delete these two, or trim them should I say. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we want to mirror that door across. So, a couple of different ways we can do it. The way I like to do things generally, because I'm used to it, is I just select everything. I'll select the base point there that I want to mirror, this will be my mirror line. So it's now a hot grip, press the space bar, so it's move, rotate, scale, mirror, and then I'm just going to type C for copy, and move my mouse, so I can actually see it, whatever direction I need to move my mouse, so I can actually see it's coming across, and then I just left click, and we have both doors there now, and we can move that. Well, what we'll do is we'll finish the assembly first, and then we'll copy that across. So we can do a rectangle, REC, again we'll do another rectangle, just going to line that up there, and we can offset, O for offset, from here. Alright, so now I'll grab all of that. Looks like we've got everything, and I'm just going to move a copy, so I'll grab the grip there, press the space to move, and C for copy, and then move that over, and we've got one here. You can see the bus is really starting to come along now. Okay, so next part we'll do, well, we may as well offset from here down, and we'll create this little bit here. Okay, so all we need to do really now is put in some lines and trim it. Or we can fillet it too, actually. So what I'll do is, I'll move these lines up by dragging the grips. And I'm going to move a copy across. Okay, that's good. So, I'm going to type TR for trim. Press the space. That one. This one here. Press the space bar again. Now press it again to start the trim command. I'm going to select that as my border. And that one as my border. Press space. Delete those. Same thing. I'm going to get end of the command by pressing space. Press space to start the command again. Select these borders. Press space. Delete. And all I need to do now is move another copy of that one across there, that one in there, and here, well, I can just fillet it. So F for fillet, type R for radius, and now I want to make it 0. And as you can see, it's coming along quite well. Here's a pretty easy one too, just another rectangle, REC. Here we've got a line. Let's draw a line right across here, alpha line. I'll go a little bit beyond that, because if I try to snap onto it all, see it's snapping up there, so I'll just go a little bit beyond. Then I can type T alpha trim. So over here we have a little type of arc here, but I think it's a bit of a straight line. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to type P alpha polyline, click there, I'm going to turn off the F8 key, so press F8, and I'm going to click there, and now I'm going to type A for arc. This time I'm going to press S for second point. So when I do that, press S, press space, it's going to ask me for second point. And in this case, I want to try to get roughly where I think is in the middle of that arc. So it's about let's say about there. And then I can just sort of come right across there a bit. And I'll just press space, so I'm out of that command. PL again for polyline. Come down. Come down here. I think we need to move that up a little bit, so I'm going to type S for stretch, and I'm going to move it up. I'm going to press my F8 key, and I'm going to snap onto there like that. Again, oh, we have a little, oh, it's lower a bit, okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to move a copy, make the grip, press space, C for copy, move across, pan across, and then I was going to place that there. And that way I can, again, S for stretch, stretch that up to there, and I can stretch this one down. And T alpha trim, use that, and then trim these off. Here we got the mirror. So, now we got the mirror. So, what I'll do is I'll start with polyline, so PL for polyline, press my F8 key, and I'm just going to come right across. I'm going to make that sort of just squarish at the moment. Okay, like about there, roughly, it's a little bit off, but that's okay. So I'm going to offset, so O for offset, from here to here, and actually I'm just going to delete that, because what I'm going to do first, perhaps, yeah, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to actually fillet those curves. So F for fillet, and I'll type R for radius. So from here to here, and there's another one here. Okay, now I'm going to offset, and let's redo it again from here to here. And there we go, that's it. So what I'm going to do here as well, because see that line doesn't line up, I can draw a line from there downwards, and then I can use the stretch command, so S for stretch, select, go from here to here, delete that line. So as you can see, we've got that coming across now. Here I'm just going to draw a rectangle. It's a bit hard to tell sometimes with these images, you know, what's actually going on. That looks kind of like it's got a curve to it, so draw another rectangle. I'm going to fill it. F for fillet, R for radius. We go from here to here. I might undo that actually. U for undo. F for fillet, R for radius. I'll go a little bit further this time, perhaps from here to here. And this here looks like it's actually tapering. So what I can do is, what I'm going to do, I'll select the object, I'm holding down my shift key, I'm left clicking, and I'm left clicking. So if I hold down my shift key whilst I click a grip, I could select multiple grips. Now I'm going to let go of my shift key, and I'm going to left click one of the grips, and then I'm going to just drag them inward. Oop. And I'll come down. I'm going to press my F8 key to turn it off. Come down about here, and trim that. T alpha trim. what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line right in the middle of that. Whoops, I'm going to delete that. Didn't have my F8 key turned on, so I'm going to press F8. I'll select that, and I'm going to mirror. So I'll try the mirror command a different way this time. So if I type MI for mirror, it's going to ask me to select the objects. And the first point of the mirror line is here, and then the second point is there. And it'll ask me if I want to erase the source object, and I'm just going to say no, because I want to keep the original one. And there we go. That's another way to do mirror. AutoCAD often has more than one way to do things. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing the trim command. So TR for trim, select both those objects, press space, and then I can delete in the middle. And same thing here, I'm going to trim using this, trim. Draw a line down there, and there's a line roughly there. So as I said, it's a little hard to tell with the detail there exactly what's going on. Trim, again, TR for trim. And I'm going to just delete that line. Let's have a look at our bus. So yeah, it's really coming along. As we can see, actually, we have, I'm going to select these objects here, and the ones here as well. Because on the bottom part of the bus here, we've actually got some more of those down here. Okay, so I'm going to just grab a grip. So it's hot. I'm going to press space. I'm going to press C. I'm going to press space. And I'm going to move it all down. Looks pretty good. And as you can see, it goes through the wheel arch. So all we can do is trim that. So what we'll do first is we'll grab one of these lines, and we're going to move it to copy. Turn off. I'll press my F3 key for a moment. Just turn off the snaps. Only because I'm so close to the wheel arch that I could be snapping onto something I don't want to. Okay, so if I type TR now for trim, grab that, the boundary, and this one is a boundary. Press space, get rid of those. And we'll do the other side too. Trim, select the boundaries, press space. Okay. And also I've noticed here that we actually have a bit of a wheel guard around here, and because this entire bus is actually one big polyline, as you can see I've got it selected, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset this, go for offset. But as you can see, when I do that, it's created a second, I'll select the line, it's created an entire second part of the bus. So that's okay though, we can trim that off. So the way we do that, we'll type TR, we'll select that, and select that there, trim, and trim, and let's see, so then the rest we can just select and delete. So you can see that, be another little piece right in the middle there. So we can trim that too. And now we can just extend. Select the bus outline, extend that one, and that one, and maybe this side too. Yep, I think I'm this side. Okay. And here we can just draw a rectangle to do these under carriage storage. And I'll press my F3 key, and I'll turn off my F3 key. Okay. So just doing some rectangles there. And here's a couple of different ways we can do this one, but I'm just going to draw again a rectangle. Type F, fillet, R for radius, and go from here to about there. And we can just copy this across too. So I select all those objects, and I'm going to select right in the middle, thereabouts. That, now move, copy. Oops, oh that's right. I actually spoke about this in another video I did. Used to be able to do that, in AutoCAD, early versions, you'd be able to copy multiple objects from the midpoint. You can't do that anymore in that way. You have to use the actual move or copy command. So I'll just type CO for copy. Select all objects, I'll press space, press my F3 key, grab the middle, and I'll move that to the middle of here. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to stretch, so S for stretch. Move it about there. Same side, stretch again. Right. And here we'll draw a circle. I'm going to move it from the middle there, about there. And here we have a kind of a circle with like a little teardrop sort of shape. So I'm going to grab that as a hot grip, and then I'm just going to copy. C for copy. About there. And a couple of different ways we can do this. It's hard to tell exactly for me what that is actually doing there. Whether it's supposed to have a bit of a lead in with a curve, or. But what I can do, I can draw a circle, and I'll trim. It's a TR, and I'll select both objects, and I'll trim that and that. And if I wanted to, round that a bit more, I can actually put an arc in there. Turn off F3, and I can sort of do it like that roughly. Whatever feels about right for me, for you, or for me in this case. Yeah, as I said, it's a bit hard to tell exactly what's going on there. So I'm going to trim that here for trim. We can adjust that. What I'm going to do though first, so it's mirrored, I'm just going to put a line in the middle there, and I'll TR for trim, and I'll trim that off there. So I'm only working on one side then. And that way we can grab that and adjust it as we feel. It looks a little bit smoother. Press the F8 key and F3 key to turn them both off. So I'm just trying to get that to look a little smoother. Okay. So I'm going to select both those objects, and I'm going to mirror them. So I'm going to press space, 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 C for copy, press my F8 key, move the mouse down, left click, and I'm going to TR for trim. And the same thing, we can just mirror that up the top. So do the other mirror again. We'll use the MI command, MI for mirror. Grab all our objects. Press space. First point of the mirror. Excuse me. I'm going to press F3. So it snaps on from there to there. Oops. And then press space. And then we have it. TR, trim. Okay, so all the rest should be fairly self-explanatory. This here, I will do this here. That's an interesting sort of shape. So what we'll do is do a rectangle here. And trim, TR for trim. And we'll do another rectangle. And I'm just going to move it to about there. Okay. Again, there's just some rectangles. And then I can just copy these ones across. So move that, copy across. Yeah. Okay. Now this here, what I'll do is I'll draw a polyline. So P for polyline. I'll press my F3 key just to turn it off for a moment. I'm a little bit below that line. Come up and press the F8 key. I'll press the F8 key again to turn on ortho. And press it to turn it off again. And back on. So it's hard to tell if that's actually supposed to be slightly curved there or not. So I'm going to assume it is. I'm going to type A for arc. Press my F8 key. And I'm going to type S for second. And about there. Left click. Type L for line again. And I'm just going to sort of roughly move it around. I'll type A for arc again, so it looks like an arc. I'll type L for line, and we'll come down. And I'm just going to go to here for now, because I'd say this other line's behind this spring thing. And I'm just going to follow this around. Just clicking as I go. And that looks like an arc there. Where it starts, I'm not sure. Maybe go up a little bit of a line. A for arc. S for second point. I think it's about there. L for line again. A for arc. S for second point. L for line. Okay, looks like it's well, it kind of looks like it's a big arc, actually. So I'm going to type A for arc, S for second point. Now, it appears that the arc goes to about there, so I'm looking for around the center point, about there. Excuse me. And then, I'm still in arc command, so I'll press S again. And I didn't like that there. As you can see, it's not very good. So I'm going to type U for undo. I might type L for line for a moment. That's what that looks like. That's okay, I guess. You can always adjust these things. And I'll do A for arc, S for second point, to about there. That looks a little better. L for line, there, there. I'll type A for arc, second point, S for second point, line, arc, S for second point, line, A for arc, S for second point, line, line. Just going to go right across there. I'll just do these ones for now just as lines. And it appears to be an arc again. So I'm going to A for arc, S for second point, and just try to get that to fit roughly about there. And S for second point again. Looks, click there, but I'm going to undo that. U for undo. I'm going to go back to line for a moment. Draw a line to about there. I'm going to A for arc, S for second point. Just S for second point again. S for second point. And that's definitely an S for second point there. And L for line, there we come. Press F8 key, and then down. So that was a little line adventure. Now with this spring, I know that you probably wouldn't see the detail of this, you know, in the average drawing. So what we'll do is PL for polyline, come down here, I'm going to press my F8 key to turn that off. Type A for arc, S for second point, across, L for line, and A for arc, S for second point, F3, key, snap on there. Okay, so I've got that, and I can just adjust that a little, so it makes it a little bit better. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a line from here, and I'm going to draw, it's going to be a reference line just to roughly get the direction of where that's going. Now we could do this as an array, which can be a bit fiddly sometimes, but it's only a small amount, so what we can actually do is create this line here to there, and then move a copy of this from here to here, there to there, to there. So now we've got a few of these, we can actually start copying this a lot faster the more we grab. So grab that grip, I'm going to move a copy across, and now if I escape out that command, grab all of that again, I'm going to hold down my shift key and left click, because I selected the other outline, I didn't want that. So move a copy across, and there we go. There's a few different ways to do that, but that's the sort of way I went with this time around. And then we can just delete those lines. And then we can trim out that line we don't want through there. So select that. Probably just select a few things here. Press space, trim, trim, trim. Oh, we've got here too. Then we can just select that and type E for erase. And a bit more through there. Now looking at this, I think I've done the most complicated stuff in this bus. Covered all the different sort of curves and circles and different components. I haven't obviously finished the entire thing. I mean, I could do that, it's not much to go, I suppose. But I think that I've covered most of the stuff that would make a lot of sense. So, I mean, this here, again, I'll do this. Draw a line. I'm going to do a polyline, so P up polyline. Press my F8 key. And I'll turn off my F8 key again. Excuse me. And I type A for arc. And I press F3. I go line. Press F8 key so it's straight. Press F8 key again to turn it off. And then A for arc. S. And then L for line. Up here. A for arc. S for second point. There. L for line. A for arc. And slip. Select there, and there we go. I can just move that across a little bit so it looks a little nicer. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I've just done the elevation on the stage, which is the more complicated part, but I think through learning this exercise you should have learned a great deal on how to go doing things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you found it easy to follow along. So if you enjoyed my video and other videos, please subscribe and click on the notification button or the little bell so you get notified of all the new fun and exciting AutoCAD tutorials that I'll be uploading. So until next tutorial, enjoy your day and enjoy AutoCADing.